Hi guys, Scotty here with another DBZ Dokkan Battle video for you. In this video, we're going to be looking at the Player's Choice Battle Stage 2, the Japanese version, and how to get all the missions done, mainly just get the stage done once with Battle of Fate category units. So we're going to be bringing like a sort of Monkey Power slash GT Heroes slash mainly Battle of Fate. Obviously all of them will be Battle of Fate to get the mission done, and I'm going to have the support items, the team, and the support memory there as well you can grab. And we're going to jump into the first boss here. We're going to be up against Physical Goku. Nothing special about him. We're going to move quite quickly through the first few phases, as the Japanese version is very much like easy, most difficult fight right at the end. So yeah, the final fight is quite something and ramps up very quickly, but all of the fights pretty much leading up to it are nothing crazy. So Physical Goku should be pretty easy to beat, and then we'll move on to Super Saiyan God Goku. Moving on to Super Saiyan God Goku, he now will do a 2 million super once per turn, and he greatly lowers the defense of the unit that he hits. So we can use these early stages to really start getting our rotations dialed in. I'm trying out a little bit of a different format to make this a bit easier to understand at a glance. Last few versions, well, the left slides I'm talking about, we're getting quite wordy, so I thought just simplifying the rotations. Let me know what you think. The name of the game with Stage 2, the Japanese version. If you don't know, Player's Choice Battle was all decided by a Twitter poll where users from Japan and the whole international version of the game could vote on what event they wanted. So the Japanese version is more of a longer event, so it can go quite a few turns and it's better for stacking. The health pools are kind of greatly inflated per boss, but they aren't hitting quite as hard until later on. So you have time to stack, so it's good to bring stacking units. And there are some key things you want to do, like with the Super Saiyan 4s, the physical ones, you really don't want to transform them too early. You want to transform them way later. If you can, you should be able to. Their defense should outmatch the super damage that you're receiving from the bosses by quite a bit. And honestly, I think mine is rainbowed. I think I only ended up transforming mine when they were nearly at 3 million defense, and then Vegeta comes out with just a vengeance, has 5 million defense and does so much damage. So yeah, units like those, you want to get them to stack. The GT duo as well, STR, Easy Aid 1, they need to do quite a few attacks, so they need to do 5 attacks so that they can get their full damage reduction, and they need to receive 4 attacks so that they have their standby available. So it might be worth, when you're floating them off some terms as well, just if they're not getting those attacks in, maybe you're going too fast, you're killing too quickly, just pull them into rotation for a turn, get their attacks, get their hits, that sort of thing, and let them get their stacks a little bit, and then you can float them off again so that they're ready for the final phase. Units like the Boo duo, the physical Easy Aid one recently as well, they are massively raising their defense on super, so you do want to let them get in a good few attacks as well. They also need to get hit before they can activate their standby, and they get crit chance by supering. So those units, look, there are a lot of turns that are going to happen here, so you very likely will just naturally do this anyway without having to worry too much. But if you're a bit concerned, you could always pull them onto rotation for 1 or 2 turns, like the Boo duo, let them get some big supers in. But in floating, they should be fine as well. That was just some tips and tricks for the units, but you should be fine if you just want to follow along as well. I'm going to have the actives. All actives we're going to save for the end final phase against Goku and Frieza, so do that unless you really feel like you're going to die with the Super Saiyan 4s, but that shouldn't be a problem. And we're also going to not use any items until right at the end stage, when we will be using some items because of how hard that boss hits. So Super Saiyan Blue Goku, we're onto here now. We're up to the same, a 2 million super. He gets attack and defense 59% boost on the second turn from entry. So after his first turn, he will get that boost. It will be about a 3 point something mil super, and he has a higher damage reduction before receiving 7 attacks. So after 7 attacks, you will start doing more damage to him. Again, these bosses in this version have a lot more health, so you see it does take a bit longer to actually get through them. But nothing wild on Super Saiyan Blue Goku here. We're going to move on to UI Sign. Moving on to Physical UI Sign here, we're starting to whittle away his health a bit. He does the 3.75 mil super. He raises attack on super as well. He may evade your attacks, he has a 10% chance. And he gets damage reduction rate minus 7% with each turn passed, no more than negative 21%. And he gets attack minus 7% within the same turn with each attack received, no more than negative 35%. So he is going to be starting to be easier to kill a little bit later on, and he shouldn't hit as hard at the end of a turn once he's received a few attacks. But really, our Daima Goku here is going to be receiving a lot of these supers, and he is doing just fine. He's such a tanky unit, it's crazy. And the rest of our units we are just getting stacks with. We still have AGL Vegeta as well, who just hits hard no matter what. And we shouldn't have too much of an issue on here. We haven't come up against too many weird mechanics. We're just hitting big numbers, and we're doing alright. So yeah, we're going to jump on to the next stage, which is UI Goku. Okay, so AGL UI Goku does a 4.05 mil super. He greatly lowers your attack. He has a damage reduction rate raised for the first 2 turns, so he's going to be a little bit harder to kill the first 2 turns, and he gets an attack plus 15% with each turn passed, up to 25%, so he'll hit a little bit harder later on. I just want to point out one thing here that I did make a mistake on, and this was because this was my first run. I actually didn't check the stats before, and so the fight is not exactly identical to the international one, so don't transform your units too early thinking that, we are right at the end here. No, there are 2 more stages after the final fight that you think from the international version. So yeah, try and let your Gogeta, your Super Saiyan 4 stack a little bit more than you used to. Their defense should keep up with it and should be fine. Don't transform Gogeta too early, otherwise you're going to see some numbers that are not the most fantastic, and you kind of do want them to have that big boy defense and all of that. So yeah, this part was actually from one of the runs where I did it and I lost the final turn of footage. Got a call and actually cancelled the recording, and I didn't realize it, so I've got another end turn. But yeah, we'll get there. Again, we're just stacking. The super attacks are starting to get a little bit stronger now, but nothing that our Daima Goku in Slot 1 shouldn't be able to handle. And the rest of our units should also be keeping up quite nicely. The GT duo should be at full damage reduction. They should be ready to go as well now, with hopefully taking a few hits. The Buu duo they should be just stacking defense away with their supers. So their defense should be very high as well. They should be surviving supers like from Goku, no problem at all either. So we'll jump on to the next, which is TEQ UI. Okay, sorry if it does seem like we're going a little bit fast. The fights are just very, very long, and the bosses don't stack or anything, so your units should be stacking and be fine and at their full most power, so they're surviving most likely. And it's just about going through all the turns. I mean, we're at turn 12 now, and it's just about chipping away at this health and actually killing these guys and getting it down. So yeah, that's why. But we'll go over mechanics and everything, whatever the bosses have. So UI Goku, TEQ UI now. So this is the first different stage to the international version. We didn't get a TEQ UI version or a Goku and Frieza boss either. So he does a 2.7 mil super. He raises his attack and defense by 77% on super, and he can evade your attacks. He has a 7% chance. He has a 14% chance to evade your attacks when HP is less than 30%, and his attack plus 7% within turn, up to 77% per attack received. So he will stack a little bit. Not going to go too nutso though, and you should be fine here. We're going to have the Gogeta Scouter, so we can see where the supers are going. If you have transformed Gogeta here, if you can keep stacking with the Super Saiyan 4s, and you're at like 3, nearly 4 million defense, you should be fine surviving this. So maybe get one more turn in and start thinking about transforming the stage. Wouldn't be a problem at all. And yeah, try not to use any items either. We are fully saving that for the final stage, which is a huge amount of health and is just, yeah, it takes a long time to get through and hits very, very hard. But again, nothing crazy with this boss either. We're just going to go up to 77% attack boost, which is going to take us up to maybe like a 4 mil super, just math in the head off the fly, on the fly. Don't know if that's right or not, but I think it is about a 4 point something mil super. So you should be fine again with most of your units. Keep stacking, keep going through this, and we are going to come back at the difficult stage, the Goku and Frieza end stage. Okay, so this is Goku and Frieza. You've probably made it to this stage absolutely fine, thinking the rest of the stages are pretty damn easy. The rest of the bosses, anyway, are pretty damn easy, and gotten one shot by this dude at like 2 or 3 turns into his phase. He's very strong. He is doing, well, they are doing a 5.4 or 6.3 mil super 3 times per turn. It is crazy how much this fight just ramps up out of nowhere from much easier stages into the stage. So 3 times super, chooses between the 5.4 or the 6.3 million super, depending. And just editing Scotty here quickly. I don't explain what I'm doing with the Super Saiyan Blue boys there in this active here. I just activate it. Swap over to Vegeta always and activate his active rather. That will give you guard for 4 turns with the unit. So you'll have 80% dodge, 70% damage reduction, and then the guard as well. So do that, swap over to Vegeta, do the active, swap back over to Goku. You now have done a nice little bit of damage. You've gotten guard and you have damage reduction. It makes it a very, very tanky unit. Okay, back to the video. And they can do that 3 times per turn, and they raise their attack by 30% every time they do that. So, I mean, that is a 90% raise by the 3rd time once they've supered. That's for their normals and everything, obviously, because then that'll reset on the next turn. But still, those supers are big and they're scary. So we're going to pop our Wiis here. You can definitely do this without items, I'm sure. I think you maybe just got a little bit of a dodge build, that sort of thing, with like a full dodge team or that. But yeah, with the amount that these guys stack as well, I think just to get Battle of Fate done, we're going to be running our 2 Wiis, and we're going to be seeing that the boss also does an attack plus 7% and defense plus 7% with each attack received. So every time you hit these guys, they are going to be boosting up their attack and defense, which is just crazy. They can honestly, you can hit them so much in a turn with additionals and everything. You're probably doing 6 to 8 attacks at least, because every unit is getting an additional pretty much. So that is like a 50 to 60% boost every single turn they're getting. So yeah, they're quite wild, and they have 2 billion health. I think they do take the cake for the most amount of health of any boss ever. Definitely could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure I've never seen anything above 2 billion. So this is where we're going to be activating everything. We're going to have our Wiis active for 4 turns. We are going to be doing actives. We are going to be doing revives with the GT Duo if we want. Hopefully they get to attack before they die. That massively boosts the damage that they do with their Spirit Bomb. And then the GT Duo, sorry, not the GT Duo, the Boo Duo, you can activate their standby now, and you just want to load your team up with orbs for this 4 turns. It would be really beneficial if they could come in the first turn that you have your Wiis active. If the Boo Duo is there, and you can activate their standby and just start pumping them full of orbs, so that hopefully by what they would then come back 3rd and 5th turn. So when they come back 5th turn, you're out of your you run out of Wiis. You now have a fully massively boosted Boo Duo super Spirit Bomb that you can just fire at the boss and hopefully use that to finish off, do your final bit of damage to get this done, because yeah, that can be very, very helpful. So yeah, you really want to make use of them and give them as many orbs as possible, because for every single orb they get, they're going to get an 11% damage reduction rate up to 100%. So with their orb changing, with the orb change we have on this team, we should be able to give them a nice chunk of orbs so that they are pretty much just invincible. You can even slot one them if you're worried about any of the other units, but any of the other units shouldn't be a problem, because with the 40% extra, I mean, like Diamond Goku is 94% damage reduction, the AGL Gogeta has 90% damage reduction. The astute amongst you might notice a slight issue with the turn counter at the top, and I've just transformed Gogeta again. So in all honesty, I did the first run kind of a bit blind, and I was recording, and I received a phone call in the final boss with Goku and Frieza, and I forgot to put the recording back on, beat the boss, and then did the whole fight again and started recording from Goku and Frieza again. So sorry, it is a bit of a spliced run. I will keep the whole thing in so you can see it's the exact same team, and we did actually beat it. I'm not just lying to you guys, but in all honesty, that is why the turns are a bit messed up and that. So sorry about that. Just to be completely transparent. If that is a heinous crime, do tell me in the comments, and maybe I must just re-record this video then. But I wanted to get it up. This did take me quite a while. It's more about just the advice for getting through the rotation, I suppose. But yeah, I'm going to leave the whole rest of the fight unedited, so you can see we do beat Goku and Frieza with no issue, and with the same team and all of that. But yeah, like I said, especially with the Super Saiyan 4s, you can transform them as late as Goku and Frieza int. That is going to be amazing. Look how much defense he has. Look how much damage he has. It's just, yeah, way better to do it later. So do that as much as you can. I'll pop back in and out with the advice throughout this because I do want to keep the last part unedited so you can just see the whole run of it. Now, we did get away with getting through turn 13, our first turn against Goku and Frieza, without using a wheeze, and they do hit a lot, not a lot, but they do hit a little bit less in the beginning stages, obviously, because they are stacking up and they're going to be hitting much harder later on. So if you can get through one turn without using a wheeze, it will help later on, and that's just going to be from relying on units that dodge, relying on the STR Super Saiyan Blue Boys as well. They're super powerful, really 80% chance to dodge and 70% damage reduction if they miss. And then if we can get away with just getting one turn. But if you were really worried and you just died, and it is a lot of time to put into a stage, a fight, and then you just die to one shot right at the end. It's super frustrating. I do get that. It might just be worth popping the wheeze anyway, and then hoping you can do enough damage to get it up. But we did skip one turn of wheeze, and then we get 4 turns with the wheeze, and then we kill in the 6th turn, then I think it is, we manage and we find protected most of the time. Okay, so here, unfortunately, we have the Bujo coming in quite late, so we're only getting to activate the standby now, and then we just want to pump them up with as many orbs as possible so that we can activate this. So try always make sure they have some orbs available to them at the end. Obviously, not for the standby skill itself, because that'll just count orbs from everyone, but they get 11% damage reduction rate in this state. When they are waiting and they're standing by, they get 11% damage reduction per orb. So you really want to give them as many orbs as possible. 7 orbs here will be 77% damage reduction, plus you have the wheeze up, so they're immortal. So yeah, they'll be absolutely fine, and that's what you want to do. And that is pretty much it. With that awesome Spirit Bomb, we nearly finished off the entire fight with Spirit Bomb. That would have been so cool. A little bit of a scary thing here. We have no Whis up anymore, and we do need to counter a Super. I mean, Gogeta does, we've given him some nice orbs, and he has like 5 mil defense, so I do think he possibly could have survived a Super at this point. But that is the run, that is the full thing. Sorry, it was a little bit scuffed this time, and we had to have the very long fight at the end, but I thought the part of the fight is the most important anyway, so if you are only looking just to beat this fight and the rest are easy to you, at least you have the whole recording you can go through. But yeah, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I really hope this helped, and I will check you guys in the next one. Cheers.